I was born with a condition called esotropic strabismus, which means that my brain only sends the signal to focus to one eye at a time, causing the other eye to turn inward. I had had 3 failed surgeries by the age of 5 years old. The doctors ending up telling my parents that ultimately I could possibly have another surgery when I was older and had finished growing and developing, but there's only an 11% success rate for these type of surgeries, and so if I wanted to pursue surgery that was fine, but there would be lots of risk involved. And so I kind of grew up with just this heaviness of I'm different. I did professionally with a Christian company in Dallas where I live, and growing up and being on the stage and being in the spotlight, that was always something that was on my mind, always something that was in the back of my head. You know, how do my eyes make me look different? How do they make me stand out from everyone else? How do they isolate me? It made it hard for me to interact with people for the first time, you know, whether that was meeting someone initially and seeing them do a double take as they realized that my eyes looked a little bit different, experiencing a little bit of the rejection that would come just from them maybe thinking something was a little bit off. And then that making me extremely insecure and unable to interact well or be authentic in my interactions. And I also taught little ones ballet, and just that initial question of, Miss Anna, why do your eyes look so funny? And so I started to turn to the Lord and ask Him, you know, in this thing that feels so isolating and makes me so different, how can I use that? How is that a blessing? How is this a gift? How is this a part of my story? How is it something that makes me significant instead of something that makes me less than? And the Lord just began to reveal to me that there is purpose in pain, and there is purpose in the things that He gives us. And so as I grew and matured, I learned the importance of surrendering and getting my focus off of myself. There's a verse in 1 Corinthians that talks about fixing our eyes on what is unseen and not on what is seen. For what is unseen is eternal, and what is seen is only temporary. And so the Lord had to get me to a place of realizing that my identity and my significance was not rooted in my eyes, but that I was much more than that. And that He had purposes that were far greater than this physical ailment, this physical thing that I felt so overwhelmed by. My parents and I talked about the possibility of having that final surgery, but as we started to discuss the risks, the fact that it was 11% success rate. It could end up with my eye, if they had overcut on the muscle, going all different kinds of ways, and just really seeking the Lord. But I was so desperate at that point. I just really wanted to be fixed. I just really wanted to be normal. I didn't really care, but as I prayed about it, the Lord revealed that the motives of my heart in pursuing surgery were wrong. And they weren't, you know, for bringing glory to Him. It wasn't so that, you know, I could move forward in a way that was more honoring to Him. And it really boiled down to my own insecurity, and that I just wanted to be the same as everyone else. And so the Lord told me no. The Lord told me that I wasn't supposed to pursue surgery, but that instead I was supposed to trust Him to provide healing for my eyes supernaturally. And when He said that, I was like, Lord, you know, that's a very big ask. Like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have faith that is big enough to carry the weight of healing, of trusting You for something that is so big and so outside of myself. And He said to me, without faith, it is impossible to please God. And when He said that, you know, it kind of took me aback and made me very emotional, and still continues to, because it's true, and it's what my story hinges on, is that without faith, it is impossible to please God. And so I went through a process of fasting and praying and seeking Him for healing for my eyes. And the Lord in this season is revealing to me, the verse that He's given me is James 1:2-4 actually, and it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And perseverance must finish its work in you so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And I think the Lord is continuing to teach me that in suffering, the reason we can consider it joy, and the reason, I know that my suffering, on the grand scale of things, is even less than many others around me. There is abuse, there is, emotional damage, there is, distraught in relationships. I know that there is so much brokenness in the world, but the promise is that we can consider it joy because it is developing perseverance in us, which leads us into maturity and looking more like Christ. I've seen that in my life in so many different ways. I've seen that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope. And that hope has not disappointed me. I want to encourage you that with anything that the Lord has given you, has placed in your life, whatever your suffering looks like, whatever that thing is that feels insurmountable, whatever the thing is that He's using to test your faith, that it is producing an eternal glory that far outweighs. As Paul says, these light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory. And that's why we can fix our eyes on what is unseen, because what is seen is only temporary. I am healed by faith.